Hey guys, just wanted to do a little addition to the Yankee White Racketeers uh, video series, and I wanted to add some information about some recent events that have transpired pretty recently. A lot of people, I basically have been keeping to myself on and around campus. Anybody that I do hang out with, I've been flying out to. This is just because it's a precarious moment in my life, the life situation and the legalities and the complications involved. It's not because I'm some sort of shut-in or some sort of, hobbit that, you know, has no choice but to keep to himself. No, I'm no hermit, you know. But yeah, so recently, and there's a reason for that. And pretty recently, a lot of folks have been trying to time the way they walk with me or the way they walk past me. This has been happening in public places like at Target, the superstore, for example. I'd be just about to walk out the exit and I see a fella following me around, and so I stop and I let him go ahead and pace ahead of me and do his thing. And he stops at the trash bin and he pretends he's not sure whether to recycle or throw his receipt in the recycle or the trash. And so I humor that and I just stand there and still wait. And he just decides he's not going to throw the receipt away until I walk by. So I walk by a little bit and then I freeze in the midsection between the two doors, because you know how big places, they usually have two pairs of double doors and a little, middle area where you can wipe the mud off your shoes. So I waited in the wipe the mud off your shoes area, and he froze up and he wasn't sure what to do. He was like, "Oh shit, I already threw away my receipt." I thought he was gonna follow me outside the front door of Target. I thought I was gonna be able to pace right behind him, but I didn't allow that. And so, anyways, that fucking loser just mumbled to himself and sauntered off all frustratedly. And that has been a repeat occurrence that has been happening when I'm heading to and from my classes, etc., etc. And the reason being, and what I have been specifically told by individuals like Saif Abdullah, by individuals like Ethan Tersini, the son of Joe Biden, is that they're gonna, if I won't be friends with them, they're gonna force me to be friends or look like I'm friends with them and the folks that they hang out with. And it's been a bit obnoxious, pretty recently, Ethan has been threatening my life, threatening to assassinate me. So has his little buddy named Ben. I believe Ben is engaged or married to Lilia Bernanke. She's a little hoe that was trying to force herself into my life, and I just wasn't having it, and I still, to this day, will not have it. She's into a lot of really weird shit, too, like that they were trying to hopefully slip it into a 10th date kind of a thing, what she's into. And she's into some really weird shit, and I was just not having it. And it's not like we even got to a first date, I was just like feeling out the water, seeing what she was like, seeing if she was serious. And she would tell me that she was going to be my forever, and she was telling me she was going to be my everything. And then she was just like sleeping with somebody that she said was only a friend, right? And then immediately after they lied about it, they said nothing happened, and then they came forward and they admitted that something did happen. And then they said, it was just an accident. And then they said, well, we were hoping you would be involved in a three-way relationship with us. And then they said it wasn't an accident. We just like orgies. And then it was just like they would come up with excuse after excuse within like a 1 week span. Like they couldn't figure out what the most ideal story to tell me was so that they can get away with robbing me of my money, and I was just not interested. Lilia Bernanke, as well as Ethan Tersini, they hail from the Tempe, Arizona Jewish community. I grew up with Ethan. We went to elementary school together. We weren't ever really close friends. We were just kind of classmates in a sense, so we'd see each other on the playground. It's not like we ever played with each other. It's not like we ever had the same teachers. And so, yeah, that's that. But yeah, as far as that goes, I've been having a lot of death threats from Ethan Tersini. I've been having a lot of death threats from individuals like Ben. And it's been really obnoxious. It's like, you guys owe me security clearance compensation. You're trying to rob me of that security clearance compensation. You forced me to live with dipshits. You live right above me very often, as he does right now. I believe Ethan lives right above me. I'm over in South Village Apartments 117. I believe he's in 217. And he has these snake spy devices that he calls stingrays, and he sends them down through little holes that he drills. And I have to patch up the ceiling with like the tiniest bit of spackle. We're talking like, a toothpaste drop, but it's just like really obnoxious to have somebody trying to force their way into your life that much. And the thing is, it's not just Ethan Tersini, it's his father, Joe Biden, as well. It's all the presidents that they're buddies with. They're trying to get reelected. They want campaign money. They say, oh, well, we owe this guy tons of money in security clearance compensation because of damages that we've caused him intentionally over the course of 10 years. And we've targeted him because we thought he was autistic and maybe he would be vulnerable. And so maybe if we could just get this money, that would secure our election, right? If he would just make sure to throw Donald Trump under the bus and give us the leg up. And I don't know why they think I'm some sort of campaign slush fund for them, but it's been really fucking stupid. And to be honest, I think Joe Biden should be impeached. I don't think that's acceptable in any sense. I don't think his whore wife, who just kept trying to fuck me because she knew that they were in trouble for trying to cover up a rape. So she was like, well, if I fuck him, it won't look like a rape cover up, And she has a huge promiscuity issue. I mean, she bangs everybody, and it's a problem in their family. And I just don't want it to be my problem. And to be honest, when I was injected with drugs and put under at the black site where I was interrogated for my security clearance, I have a feeling she was the one doing the sex acts and the rape, because she has a huge security issue of a promiscuity issue. Like she just really wants it and really puts herself out there, and it's really obnoxious. And I don't ever shame anybody for having a sex life. Like, good for you. I'm so busy with work and life right now that you're probably better off than me, and so I'm happy for you. But the way she's trying to weaponize her pussy, and the way her husband is trying to weaponize her pussy, and the way her son is trying to weaponize her pussy, and the way her son is trying to twerk his ass towards me and be gay for a night so I can give him $1 billion. It all gets really obnoxious, right? And the way Joe Biden pretends to be buddy with me one day, and then the next day he's trying to fuck me over, and then the next day he's sending me messages on Reddit. He's like, oh, we're buddy, I'm cool, I got your back. It's me, your old pal, And then the next day he'll try to fuck me over and try to force me under a conservatorship, or he'll stick me in a mental hospital for the night and make his wife, the dumb hoe, he'll make her try to act as the nurse practitioner so that she can, deny me the right to leave, even though they force my stay to be much longer than what is legally viable without any proof that I am supposedly ill, right? And the police officers that they send to stick me in these hospitals are their very own officers, and they claim that I need to be on a mental hold or whatever. And so, with no basis, with no reasoning, and even the release papers have just absolutely no justification. They're like, yeah, we don't even know why the fuck this guy was here. There's no justification. And she'd appear as my doctor in doctor's offices and deny me medication for just a small time skin infection, just a little fungal infection that I needed sorted out. Time and time again, she would prescribe me antibacterial oral antibiotics instead of antifungal, because she just wanted it to fester, and she wanted me to look fucked up, and she wanted me to get stuck in a conservatorship because I would look like I'm not able to care for myself. And so their whole family is just a bunch of dumb cunts that found their way to power, and they abuse the power in every way. I completely outed Joe Biden for all the shit that he did, and all the rapes on base that he would cover up, and the fact that he would use his office to try to embezzle billions and just line his pockets before he leaves the presidency. And they said, well, he used the name Joseph, and so let's try to pin it on Moe's Sergeant Joseph. That makes more sense. And so they tried to pin it on this sergeant that is part of that military community down at Davis Monthan Air Force Base with the Secret Service. And that didn't work out for them because I was like, why are they trying to blame Joseph Moss if it's clearly Joseph Biden that's doing everything? Like, there's no justification for shit to roll downhill. His wife is the one that's sledding herself around. His son is the one that's a complete fucking dumbass and is trying to rob people and threatening to assassinate people that are part of his same military unit because they won't easily get robbed, or they won't join an arranged marriage with somebody like Lilia Bernanke. And they pretend they're completely separate and apart from these other folks that are also trying to rob me, and that would be the Saif Abdullah gang, folks like Ahmed Abdullah, folks like the Lebanese chicks that call themselves Kardashians or whatever. Just a bunch of dumb hoes, to be honest. They followed me around at Target, and they used the nuke system to just a classified system to force me to walk and take certain turns and look at her while she perking out her ass at me. And to be honest, I'm blessed to not be interested in dating anybody right now. The other day I met somebody very beautiful, and I'm just gonna wait till it's a good time. Like, I'm simply not dating. I'm not engaged. I'm not married. Nothing. I'm just straight up chilling, and life's good. And it's not that's my default setting, is being single. When somebody that is worth it and worth my while and worth my everything comes around, then sure, I'm all for it. But these days, like, I don't care if there's 15 chicks in my Spanish class that are sending me nudies. Like, I'm just not interested in any of them. Like, the NAU is trying to set me up with certain chicks, and it's all kind of backwards, and it's all kind of gross, and it's just an organized crime, And you can say, well, the least you can do is contribute to this intelligence community. They processed your security clearance, and the truth is that even though it's security clearance damages compensation, I'm owed for some damages. There are plenty of good people out there that want the best for me, and I want the best for them, and they can depend on me. But these people that are trying to rob me 1 second, and the next second they're trying to pretend to be buddy, and then the next second they're begging for my forgiveness, and then the next second they're chastising me for calling them out, for threatening to assassinate me, which, like, why the fuck would you not call them out for that? They can all go fuck themselves. That's not beneficial to me in any way. It's not transactionally, some sort of transaction that, steers me to feel like maybe I should dote them a little bit. In fact, it's the opposite. They're going to pay up restitution. And even if it's their wife giving me blowies, like, I don't care. What they did is just completely unacceptable, and it's completely un-American, and it's just not cool, and it's a complete abuse of power. And this is something that I've been shy to put out in the open and put out in the air, because it's like, hey, this is a geopolitical issue. When it's an American issue, it's a world issue, right? And I care for this country very much, and certain people you never want to put on blast, right? But they're threatening to kill me, right? They are and have been racist against me for having Palestinian blood instead of being Israeli. They called me a traitor because they leaked some AI images of my sister, inappropriate photos. They leaked AI generated images of her, and I called them out for it. I was like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's really shitty. I care about that person, even though I don't trust her, even though she's also trying to rob me. That's very shitty of you guys. And they started calling me a traitor and stuff, and they started calling me a Nazi, and they did their little pro-Israeli propaganda thing, where they're gigantic victims and everybody else is against Jews. And it's like, that's not the issue right now. This isn't an issue of race. This isn't a partisan issue. It's not an issue of Democrat versus Republican. Democrats and Republicans alike are being gigantic pieces of shit right now. And that ranges from Joe Biden to Donald Trump. And I'm just not interested in kicking it with any of them, to be honest. And so, I just think it's important to put this little update of information out there, right? Ethan will follow me around and he'll videotape me walking past him just to prove to me that I don't recognize him. But in reality, he's just like a gigantic piece of shit. And when you see a gigantic piece of shit in the road, you just try to not step nearby it. And so, I don't understand why they think they can free themselves, with this little legal loophole of, look, I videotaped him walking right by me. He didn't say anything to me, right? And it's been a common occurrence. That's something that I experienced with the Saif Abdullah gang as well. His wife's father is some sort of big shot or whatever. That's why all his daughters are, basically just ditzes that the entire identities are centered around the fact that they have genitalia and they know how to use it. And so that's their entire identity. They tried to force an arranged marriage with one of their daughters over at Target. That's the daughter that they steered me towards forcibly, without consent. They steered me towards her, and she was perking her butt out at me. Her father was there the next time I went to Target, because I just got my things and left when I started experiencing things like that, all the stalking and the abuse, whether it be Saif Abdullah or Ahmed Abdullah or the little girl they were trying to force a marriage with. So I moved on, and I got my things. I went home, had some rest, did whatever I needed to do at home, and then went back to pick up the remaining items. And her father was there, that girl, her Lebanese father was there, and he did the same thing that Ethan Tersini did, right? He would just stand there with his phone videotaping me as if to collect evidence that I didn't recognize him. When in reality, it's like, you're the one stalking me. You're the one that fucking followed me here. You're the one that's fucking videotaping me doing my shopping. Like, why are you being so fucking weird? And they have the audacity to brag to me about all their businesses and all their properties and all their money and how they're richer beyond belief and how they shut down all the parks when they go to them, and how they feel super special and because they're super rich. And it's like, I don't care, like I don't want to marry into money. I'm blessed in that department. I'm good, and plus I kind of have my eye on somebody. I'm so good on anything else, like and so it's been a lot of stupid bullshit like that. And they'll brag to me about all their assets, and they're like, we won't let you fly on our airfield or park your airplane here if you don't date our daughter. And it's like, I don't want to date your stupid daughter whose entire identity is being a porn star. Like, everybody has their sex lives, good for you. It can be a very enjoyable part of life. But when I say it's their entire identity, I'm saying it's their entire identity. I'm saying that's how they socialize. It's what they talk about. It's what they do all day. Their currencies, hookers that they buy and pass around. It's just like, you get older, things get boring. You need to spice things up. do your thing. I don't care, but I just didn't want to be involved with those folks. So I fucking moved on. And here I am making an update video about it, right? These people using nuke systems and classified weapon systems to try to force an arranged fucking marriage with a stupid ditz when they know I'm pretty happy with the people that I have in my life. And so, just worth putting out there. What else is worth noting? Yeah, that's about it. There's this chick that keeps talking to me when I don't want to talk to her, but I think it just might be an innocent crush. I don't think it has anything to do with this. That happens at the gym. Once again, not interested. I'm pretty blessed. I'm very blessed. I'm as blessed as a person can get. Somebody that I knew a long time ago said hello, and it meant the world. And I'm gonna live off that hello for a good while. Good rest while. Yeah, I think that's it, folks. I don't have anything to add. If I remember something later, I'll just add another video segment to this one. So sorry if it's a little bit choppy, but you get it. I'm just doing unstructured updates, and I'll keep it as short as possible. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Sorry, our government is filled with pricks that just want to line their own pockets. It's very disappointing to me. It's very disappointing that, they see me as their convenient orphan, their convenient little retard that they could pork barrel money into and only to rob them later on down the road. And it's something that they have been planning out for a long, long time. I mean, we're talking about 11 years ago is when Rebecca Bauer first pulled up in her old ratchety truck and tried to, falsify documentation that I was throwing rocks in the road. She had two actors walk nearby me and throw shit in the road, and she wanted to pretend it was me that was doing that, which just very much is not the case. So she can go fuck herself as well. She's a little ninny for the General Tersini, the wife of Joe Biden. She goes by Harris sometimes. I don't know. I don't care. But, yep, that's what I'm dealing with right now. And when I refuse to cave in, when I refuse to marry the hoes they send my way, I'm made out to be some sort of giant monster. But I'm just not having it, to be honest. I'm just not having it. I'd rather shout to the world what's going on. I'd rather tell everybody on the planet, the president of the United States is literally shoveling billions of dollars straight from the Treasury into his pocket via loopholes like the CIA's, black funding and defense spending and whatnot. I'd rather let the world know that than just be assassinated because the president's retarded son is having a little ego issue with the fact that, we work in the same unit, and he's been in the unit for longer, and he's made to be in charge of more things because he's the president's son and whatnot. And it's like, he just keeps coming at me with this, oh, you think you're better than me, huh? Kind of attitude. And I really never approach him with that kind of attitude. In fact, I never approached him at all. Like, the last time I meaningfully spoke to the dude was probably in middle school when we wrestled on the same team, but even then we weren't very social with each other. So, it can be really awkward when somebody like that is racist to you one second and trying to pretend to be your best friend the next second. It's like, I love having people in my life that I can call brothers, but some people just don't act very brotherly, and then they try to set that expectation. It's like when you're working for a really shitty call center, and they're like, oh yeah, but we're all family, so do a little overtime. It's like, oh, but we're all family, so I might treat you like shit from time to time. And it's like, no thank you. There are plenty of jobs out there. There are plenty of good people out there. I'm not going to, settle for shit. And to be honest, I can afford to live a good life. I don't need to dote some assholes that are trying to ruin me one second and pretending that I owe them a shit ton of money the next second. It's like, pick one. Are you going to try to rob me, or are we friends and I owe you money? Pick one. And they picked one a long time ago, and they keep being wishy-washy about it because they're fucking stupid as shit. The same thing goes for dipshits like Saif ul Haq from the ul Haq family. The ul Haq family is known for robbing tons of money from people in Pakistan. They pretend that there's going to be some sort of great investment, and they just rob those people. And they did the same thing to folks from Palestine. They did the same things to folks from Saudi Arabia. They did the same things to folks from Israel. What they do is they say, oh, we have this incredible opportunity. We're a hedge fund. We're hedging our bets against this guy. We're going to rob him. We're going to take all his money. But in reality, he just smokes weed all day at home. He's fucking smokes himself retarded. He shits his bed. He shits on the toilet seat, which has been a recurring theme with the people they forced me to live with, by the way. And I have documentation of that. He vacuums milk. He's just a fucking idiot, pretending he's in charge. I mean, the guy couldn't babysit a house without fucking up. So I think that tells you all you need to know. And his little robbery scheme didn't work. He tried pointing guns at me. I got a restraining order. The judge granted me exclusive living rights to the household, and he was deemed a danger to me and had to stay away from me. And so their little robbery scheme that involved the fucking president of all people, as well as plenty of other politicians and generals and high-ranking officials, their scheme fell apart because they couldn't rob me because I wasn't so fucking stupid that they could just stick me in a conservatorship. I wasn't so fucking stupid that I would just get robbed. And so what they resorted to was buying out companies where I would get a job, and they would try to forcibly fire me because, hey, what's buying a multi-million-dollar company if you could rob this guy of billions of dollars? And so they just kept trying and trying and trying, and so far it hasn't worked out for them. So far I have the president's son throwing tantrums, his mother trying to fuck me, and his father pretending to be buddy-buddy with me because shit just isn't working out, and he's gonna hope the pity approach will work out. And I just feel really bad, a lot of people that I used to respect just got shown in a really bad light, like Ben Bernanke. Used to be a huge fan of the entire Obama cabinet, and all of a sudden his niece is like forced to try to be in a relationship with me, his niece slash daughter. They won't tell me which one. They switch it up every time. And so it's just like, that's so fucking gross. I just don't want anything to do with them. And I just want them all to die or go away. Either of the two, whichever is easier. Yeah, so hopefully lightning strikes them. Maybe God will smite them. I don't know. But I just figured I'd let the world know because, when POTUS is threatening to assassinate a U.S. citizen that is part of the military because that U.S. citizen won't allow the president to embezzle billions of dollars by using that individual as some sort of vessel for the theft. I think that's grounds for not only impeachment, but also a deep investigation. I think his son should be imprisoned. I think his wife should be imprisoned. They were both complicit in covering up a rape that occurred on base. Not only did they try to cover it up, they tried to rob me of the millions of dollars in compensation that I'm owed for it. And the list goes on. Obviously, the things that I've listed off, very shitty things, on the exact extreme of what is and isn't acceptable. Fucking breaking the commandments, breaking the law, and breaking the public trust that they were given when they took office and when they took command. And so, somebody do something. I tried filing suit with the federal court, and they just reject my paperwork and give me bullshit reasons every time. And it turns out they just pack the courts with their own clerks and do that to me intentionally to fuck me over as much as they can. And so it's like trying to go to HR in a company where the CEO is a rapist piece of shit, and he's robbing the company blind. It's like you go to HR and they're like, well, he's a really good CEO, and it's like the person's like fucking, these judges, their jobs depend on the fucking president giving them another job, or their jobs depend on the president winning his re-election. And so obviously their entire office is their entire branch, the judicial branch, is just covering up for this guy. I have the delivery receipts. I have the and so do the courts. They know that I called them about these things. They're like, well, we rejected it because it had a New York district court header. And it's like, I just filed with a New York district court header last month. And they're like, oh, well, just a mistake then. I was like, did you reject the paperwork? Like, did you send it back to me? And they were like, yeah. And I go to the post office. They have nothing. They did not reject the mail. As a matter of fact, they did not. And these people are just making some more desperate measures and desperate approaches to try to rob me, whether it be utilizing a university, whether it be utilizing their daughters, trying to force their daughters into my life, etc., etc. And, so let the world know. This is where your taxpayer dollars go. This is where billions of dollars go, just lining people's pockets, people that are already rich beyond belief, people that already buy their way into the presidency, people that already sell their own asses to foreign countries because they're married to somebody from that foreign country. And so, somebody like Joe Biden has his tongue way up Israel's asshole, and he's just fucking, really licking their sheriff's badge because his wife is Israeli, and I'm in that military unit, and I've dealt with so much racism, it's not even acceptable, and so they just give their Israeli buddies the best jobs they can, and somebody like me comes along and I do a damn good job. I fight for the country. I do away with anybody that doesn't. And recently that has included my coworkers. These people have been un-American as fuck. They're just trying to line their pockets. And when I call them on it, they call me a Nazi simply because I have heritage from Palestine. And Palestine is an occupied country that Israel is just, turning children into skeletons over there. And so, I try not to touch the topic, and honestly, at work, I don't. I keep it so professional. Even when they're being racist as fuck, I just don't bring that kind of shit up. Uh, no arguing, no debating, nothing. I just, document it, log it, tell the world about it. It's like Joe Biden's wife is just giving all her buddies these jobs, and all her buddies are creating black sites where they torture people that are supposed to be getting training for the U.S. military. They're like, oh, it's military training that we torture this person, and then they try to put you under a conservatorship because you report them for the torture, and you report their black sites, and you report all the things that they're doing, and they go, oh, we'll just assassinate you. And it's like, well, I think the world should know that you're just trying to assassinate me, and I think the world should know that you try to politically assassinate my relatives by releasing nudies or AI nudies of them. And so, yeah, folks, shit. This went from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Can I think of anything else? No, I can't. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Sorry our president's a piece of shit. Better luck next time.